Damn, Dru, you got another one.
In the 2001 film Baby Boy, in the opening scene, the movie references a theory by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Because of the system of racism, the black man in this country has been made to think of himself as a baby, a not yet fully formed being who has not realized his full potential. I believe this theory has a lot of truth when it comes to black males in America, and in this video, I'm going to break down how rappers perpetuate this system that has been designed to keep black males marginalized, metaphorically keeping black boys from becoming black men in this society. This is the baby boy complex in hip-hop. So, you may ask yourself, what is baby boy behavior? What is the baby boy complex? The baby boy complex is a negative behavior pattern and mindset that black males tend to showcase due to insufficient resources, trauma, and institutional racism in our communities. Negative behavior and patterns such as selling drugs, going to prison, being a deadbeat father, killing each other, misogynistic behavior, being womanizers, low emotional intelligence, drug addiction, a lack of self-worth, and pretty much any type of behavior that keeps black males in a negative pattern where they continue to show lack of dominion over their lives and destroy their own communities instead of pushing the culture and our communities forward in a positive direction. It's the complete opposite. Their lack of character is the way, metaphorically, of a child who can't control himself, a child who will always be under the guardianship of a parent or of a man, a child who must follow that man's systems because a child doesn't know how to fend for themselves and do manly things. Now, before I show similarities to the rappers and characters in the movie Baby Boy, let's talk about the names of rappers and how there's a certain toxic theme in their music and how that goes hand to hand with their names and image that is portrayed to the public. Let me name a few rappers for you. NBA Youngboy, Lil Baby, Dru Baby, Young Thug. Without me going into any more detail, there is a connection that all these rappers I just named have in common, which is the baby boy complex that I just described, and all of them ironically have childlike names. I can bet most rappers that have the phrases boy, baby, little, or young in their names probably showcase a lot of this baby boy behavior that I'm talking about. Now, I know that there's other rappers out there who don't have these childlike phrases in their name that still showcase this type of behavior, so I may reference them as well to drive home some points if needed. Now, let's talk about the environment. In the movie Baby Boy, the character Jody comes from a single-parent household, lives in the ghetto. His brother was murdered, which the movie didn't show that incident, but the character Jody did talk about it throughout the film. Jody's upbringing leads him to having multiple baby moms while living with his mother, not making sufficient income, being a womanizer, having a paranoia of death, and many other negative things that has placed a curse over his life to keep him in this baby boy complex. The film shows Jody navigating his environment, dealing with his situations, sometimes giving in and sometimes trying to break out of this toxic pattern while dealing with other baby boys, such as his friend Pete and his enemy Rodney, who are all just different versions of a person dealing with the same external and internal circumstances. Just like Jody, a lot of these rappers didn't have a say-so in the environment they were going to be raised in, an environment that has been purposely poisoned by design. So therefore, I do hold these rappers accountable for their actions because you have to look within in order to grow and make better choices. But I still have an understanding as a black man myself that is more complex than just bashing someone for showcasing this baby boy behavior, because this is a system, a programming that has infiltrated the minds of black men for many, many years. And if you were in these environments that a lot of blacks had to grow up in, you would act the same way. Now, let's talk about the transition from becoming a boy to a man. In the movie Baby Boy, Jody has quite a few moments where the boy in him actually starts to mature and starts making grown man decisions, or at least realizing in real time, while he has made a bad decision, the grown man version of himself is getting some type of lesson or awareness from that experience. From the scene in the movie showing him wanting to be an entrepreneur and sell women's clothes, it is a sense of awareness that is coming to the character as Jody wants to embark on this journey within this capitalistic society so he can provide a better way for his family. Another good scene where Jody shows some maturity, or at least starts to show some awareness, is when he actually went over to his baby mom's Yvette's co-worker house. Now, even though it was a wrong move on his behalf by going over to her house, in real time in that scene, he chose to make a wise decision and leave before things went too far with her. And it's showing that his character is now starting to think of the consequences of his actions. And one last scene from the movie that I'm going to talk about that shows maturity within his character was the scene where Jody gives Melvin the gun after handling the conflict with Rodney. This was a powerful scene, maybe the most important scene in the movie, because it was like a bonding moment and a breaking barrier moment into maturity. Despite all the negative encounters Jody kept having with Melvin, who was the father figure role to him, someone who was a guide for Jody trying to show him better throughout the film, something finally clicked for him as he finally started to grow up after that scene. Now, I say all of this because I believe, just like Jody, a lot of these rappers have the same moments in their personal lives and their music careers that cause them to mature and not just stay in the cycle of the baby boy behavior. Even though it's a lifelong conflict and transition, we have seen rappers try to change themselves for the better and grow. Even the rappers I mentioned earlier, NBA Youngboy, Lil Baby, Dru Baby, and Young Thug, have all displayed some level of positivity, maturity, and vulnerability through their music, giving us insight and moments that show they are more than just the baby boy patterns that's conveyed and marketed to us by the record labels, and how some of their behaviors is a response to the negative circumstances they were born into. Some good examples to show rappers growing up and maturing for the better, just like the character Melvin did in the film, and trying to be guides for the other Jodys out there. The first rappers that come to mind is Atlanta trap legends Gucci Mane, T.I., and Jeezy. All three of these rappers who made trap music was all once showcasing this baby boy type of behavior, and now they have all shown significant amount of maturity, leaving behind that childish behavior to better themselves, their family, and helping out their communities and helping out other artists in the music industry. Like I said, these artists Gucci, Jeezy, and T.I. are pretty much what Melvin was to Jody, now taking on that guidance role to help out the younger artists. At the end of the day, we all gotta do the work to do better and be better. As a black man myself, there are things that I'm trying to navigate through and mature in as well. And if you are interested in listening to me on my journey as a man, as I'm trying to evolve into a better man myself, you can actually listen to some of my music. I put the links in the description. So with that being said, this is the Baby Boy Complex in hip hop. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments. Do you agree or do you disagree? What are your thoughts on this topic? And on that note, y'all, I'm out.
Damn, Dru, you got another one.